Uh, Hello and welcome to It Is What It Is with Carol Hale. Today, my guest is Robyn Ehrlich. She's communications and public relations coordinator for Milwaukee Film. And with her today, just stopping in to say hi, is Ryan, who is graphics designer for Milwaukee Film. And our main conversation is going to be with Robyn. And she's going to review the film festival. And kind of like well, you start and say what your take home from the festival.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me and having Ryan too. Ryan, if you want to say hi quick.
Hey.
So Ryan makes all of our graphics, so anything you see that has Milwaukee Film on it, Ryan probably designed it, most likely. So the Milwaukee Film Festival ended a couple weeks ago. It ran from April 24th through May 8th, so 15 straight days of films. We showed over 208 films, and across, I think it was like 276 public screenings, and we had 5 screens playing at all times, 2 venues. It was a busy couple of weeks.
Hey, so Robyn, for you, how many films were you actually able to see yourself?
Oh, wow. I think I saw actually, I put a whole list together. I saw, because we also have shorts programs, which are really fun. So that's a good way to see like a bunch of short films in one block. Mm-hmm. So it looks like, including short films, I saw 30 films at this year's festival. Wow. But that was across one block of short films and then a couple shorts that were attached to feature-length films that we showed before the feature.
How about you, Ryan? How many films did you get to see?
I think I ended up going to about 5 of them, and by far The Librarians, the centerpiece about book censorship in the South, was one that brought me to tears. Like, we were laughing, we were crying, we were going on with some of the girls behind us, so it is a must-see if anyone's looking for...
Yeah.
Is it still going to be showing again?
We are not currently showing it, but there's always a chance we'll bring something back because we have our Best of Fest series where we show some of the most popular films from the festival. And The Librarians actually won our audience award at the festival this year.
I hope you'll be showing that again.
I have a feeling we will.
It's the only chance I'll have to see that.
I think you would like it a lot.
I believe I would.
Yeah.
And with the librarian thing, banning books and such, I think there are old movies that I would like to have reincarnated and maybe have a film series showing some of them. One of them is Fahrenheit 451, and I definitely think that's a very timely piece. And, there are other books, other films as well. There are like 5 in total that I'd like to have shown in a series. But I'll mention that another time.
Another great film that we showed on the subject of book banning was, it was called Art Spiegelman, Disaster is My Muse. If you're familiar with Art Spiegelman, he's the graphic novelist who wrote and illustrated the books Maus, M-A-U-S, about his family's experience in the Holocaust. And they're fantastic books if you haven't read them. And I was just a big fan of his work in general. And so that was one of my favorite films at the festival that we showed this year because it really dives into censorship and the fight against fascism and that stuff. It was a really powerful, beautiful documentary.
Hey, the thing about the fight against everything, just with that word, I just want to, for a moment, I'm so tired of fighting. I'm so tired of the word fight. Can't we, isn't there another euphemism for fight? Another word we can use that essentially that we know what we mean, but I'm just so tired of fighting.
I agree.
I agree. Confront or no, not that. Combat.
I think
combat. Combat.
I think part
Go
of
ahead.
what makes like the film festival so special too is because I think a lot of us are tired of actively fighting, but going to see a film on these subjects, or like going to see people's stories that haven't really been told already. That's like a kind of more passive way of fighting the good fight, or however you want to phrase it, by just kind of showing your support as an audience member, or asking questions at Q&As, stuff like that. Because I agree, the fight has grown tiresome.
God. Hey, it wasn't part of the festival, but last weekend you had the American Indian, the what was the name of
The encampment.
The encampment, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and you had the four different tribes for the men afterwards for a Q&A. Now, that, just of all the festivals we have, for everything, for a time we had the Indian Summer, which was a wonderful festival, and we certainly could use something like that these days. I won't take time to go on with that much, but I really do feel that we should have Indian Summer again, and things like the Black River, the pipeline and all this stuff. Those would be things that could be included in shows and things, info things at Indian Summer. There is definitely a place for us to have Indian Summer again.
Yeah.
But back to the film.
Back to the movies.
Yeah. We were all really happy with how the film festival went this year, and we had fewer screens than we did last year, but we still managed to have higher attendance overall, and our attendance per screening, I didn't do this math. Someone who is good at math did the math for me, but I've been told that our attendance per screening went up by an average of 47% this year, which is nothing to laugh at. That's pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, so your reduced screens, was that because you weren't showing at other theaters this time?
Yeah. So we kind of just consolidated this year to an East Side festival footprint, and we stuck to the Oriental Theatre and the Downer Theatre, since those are the two theaters that we operate year round through Milwaukee Film, and that's it honestly turned out great. Lots of people were walking between the two theaters. We were constantly running into like people on their way to see a different film while we were on our way to see a film at the opposite place, and like high-fiving across the street, and all the businesses around that area were super excited to be a part of it, and it was fun.
Yeah, well, and that's like a big draw for the businesses around there. It's a real plus for them.
Yeah.
Hey, and Susan Kern.
We love
Susan.
Yes. I invited you today because, you've been with the festival for several years now, and you kind of have a look back at it. Susan is super, and she's, I'll have her on again. Hopefully she'll come on in a couple of months and talk with her about how things are going.
Yeah.
So, funds. Does it seem like the film festival is sufficiently funded?
Whoa. A big question. So Milwaukee Film is an arts nonprofit, which just in the world of nonprofits today, I would say nothing is sufficiently funded. But luckily we have so many incredible donors and board members and just like supporters and sponsors and media partners. So like it all manages to come together. But a big part of what the festival does every year, it does act as kind of a fundraiser for the organization, so that we can continue putting cool screenings together and events on every year. And so during the festival, we have something called the Real Impact campaign. Reel is REEL, like a film reel.
Yeah.
This year, our goal during the festival was to raise $85,000. And I think by day 6 of the festival, we had already surpassed that. So then we had to raise we decided to raise the goal to $100,000, and then the next day we already passed that.
Wow.
And then by the end of it, because we set a final goal of $125,000 because we were like, we can't keep raising it every day.
Right.
And by the end, we had raised a little over $150,000.
Wow.
Which was
Nice.
so exciting and just like validating for us as an organization to see that we have that support from the community, and it was great.
Hey, well, it's great for the community. Everybody gets to have a good time. I mean, everything. I don't think there's any dull work with the film festival. It's fun for everyone who participates, and but with shorts, I'm one of the best things I've seen. I mean, I just loved it, and I wish there was some way to get it back for just a little. It was a short, and it was called Don't Go.
Mm-hmm.
Don't Go. Do you have recollection of that?
I didn't get to see that one, but I heard about it.
Don't Go. It's really so good. But it's short.
Don't go away. Come back.
I'll ask our shorts programmer Jack Faria, who programs all our short films. I'll see if they remember this one and find out.
It's been years. It's been 10 years for sure.
Okay, Jack's been with the organization for a while, so
could even be a few more than that, but it's been a while.
Cool.
So,
well, that's
I
so
would
powerful
love
that
to see that.
a short film stuck with you for over like almost a decade later.
It was, the beauty of these kids that do them. They work with so little. They come up with a product. It just really is the creativity of these kids and making do and making things work. I think it's I love to see it. I didn't renew my membership to the film festival because I haven't been able to go in recent years.
Right.
I'm gone. So, but I wish there was some way I could be here just for a little bit of the festival.
Well, we ran into you last year at because we have a fall festival called Dialogues Documentary Festival. We ran into you at a screening during that festival last year. So there's always a chance to see some films during that. And that will be this year. We're bringing that back this year, and it's going to be September 18th through 21st. So 4 days, a lot shorter than the Milwaukee Film Festival, but it's all documentaries, which I feel like people really love watching documentaries, especially since you don't get to see them in a theatrical setting a lot of the time. A lot of times people watch documentaries more like on streaming, at home, on their couch, which that's fine too. But it's kind of special to get to have the communal experience with a documentary. It
just can't replace that. You can watch a film on a big screen, a TV, or a number, but the collective watching of a film, and that shared experience, it's really nothing quite like that, I don't think. And with films, I was trying to think of what films most impressed me, for good or for bad, in my youth and stuff. So how about you? You have any films that made a really big impression on you?
Yeah, I mean, so many. One of my favorite films of all time is Harold and Maude.
Oh, I love
Do you?
Harold and Maude. I think about that really a lot. I think about that.
My first tattoo ever was a sunflower because of Harold and Maude, because those are Maude's favorite flower. And I adore that film. It's been my favorite, honestly, since I was in like 5th grade or something, because my dad showed it to me. And that has...
Did you say your dad?
Yeah, my dad showed it to me. And it was a very formative film for me, and it's always going to be my favorite, I think.
Oh, and I just love when he drove his hearse over the cliff.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. But I mean, it came out in 1971. But in the Cat Stevens soundtrack, all the Cat Stevens songs on the soundtrack are so incredible. And I have the record on vinyl, so I always listen to it. That's
Vinyl.
I know, I love my vinyl collection. But yeah, that one, and I guess Punch Drunk Love by Paul Thomas Anderson is another favorite of mine. That one stars Adam Sandler in one of his more dramatic roles, but still very quirky, and it's like a beautiful love story, or like a film about the power of love. And
when was that? When did that come
I think
out?
2004. And if you haven't seen it, it's so beautiful. And it has this beautiful score by John Brion, I think is his name.
Did you say it's The Power of Love?
It's called, well, that's what it's about. It's called Punch Drunk Love.
Punch Drunk.
And it's fantastic, but very strange. And I saw it for the first time at the UWM Union Cinema, because they showed it on 35 millimeter film, and that was really a special way to see it for the first time.
How about you, Ryan?
That's a big question. I was thinking about that while you're giving your answer. I think more recently, last year during Pride Month, I went back and watched Paris is Burning, the documentary about the queer ballroom scene in New York throughout the 1980s and the legacy and impact that had on ballroom scene and dancing and queer life and nightlife and the AIDS epidemic going on. And you hear about this stuff kind of growing up, but I actually took the time to sit down and watch it and see the impact it's had and why it's still being talked about decades later and why it's still important to make and watch these documentaries going forward. So I think that's probably the one I think about the most.
Wow. Hey, well, I think my own past, Cinderella was my all-time favorite.
Beautiful. I love Cinderella.
I think I saw Cinderella like 7 times. Cinderella. What else? The thing that made a real impact on me was The Thing.
I love The Thing.
I went to the theater. You know, when I was a kid, there was a film, a theater called The Egyptian, and it was on like 20th and Hopkins, not Hopkins, I forget, around there, 20th and Hopkins. And I went there, and when the thing is trying to get into the door and the arm comes through the door, I screamed and I ran out. I ran all the way home. The Thing. Other films, things I didn't see the end of. I never saw the end of Clockwork Orange.
Okay.
I left
Wait,
that
so you
one.
never saw the end of The Thing either?
No, I never saw the end of The Thing.
And she's going to keep it that way.
There's nothing in me that...
You saw enough.
It wouldn't be quite so frightening now. But yes, these things, and the Phantom of the Opera, that I couldn't take a bathtub. You know, I was a kid. I couldn't go in the bathroom. I was afraid. I just was afraid to be, anywhere off myself, seeing that film. You know, these films are really impactful. We just don't. I hope parents are really paying attention to what their kids get to see now. It makes such a difference. Makes a real difference.
Yeah, and that's something our kids we have a program called Rated K for Kids during the festival, and the programmer of that series is Ian Cessna, and he speaks so eloquently about like how important it is to give children the theatrical experience and to let them experience art from all sorts of different places that talk about stories that don't just have to do with them, and stories that kind of can show them all sorts of different perspectives, and that's always a special thing, is getting to see kids come to the Oriental Theatre or the Downer Theatre, but the Oriental Theatre is the big showstopper. Let's be honest here. Getting to see kids come in and have their very first theatrical experience be in this like magnificent, beautiful theater. And for a couple of the kids programs this year,
here comes Cece. Here comes. Yes, well, coming into the studio right now is Cece Carmichael.
That's awesome.
He has this welcome to reality show. Here we're talking about film, talking about the reality of film. So good to see you.
Oh, madam, it's always a pleasure to be seen and not viewed.
Wow.
He's
Poetic.
He's smooth.
Well, listen in here. We've got about 10 more minutes here, I think. So.
Well, I wish your day is half as beautiful as you are.
Oh my
See,
gosh.
I never tire of hearing these kind of. I know it's just, it's superficial. However,
we got a whole movie right here.
Wow. Well, it's nice to meet you.
yes, he's a special guy. He's a trip.
Oh.
Yes, he is very special. So he was my introduction to the studio here. It was
that's so fun.
passing by at the studio, and he was on. He was having his show, and I was on his show that day. Actually, I sang with him. I came in. I started talking, and
Do you sing?
You sang?
yes, I do sing.
Oh,
Oh.
what's up?
Wow, I did not know this.
I sang a couple of my songs. I also write songs. I did sing a couple times on
What?
here.
She's a writer too?
Oh, we're finding out so much
I
about you,
write
Carol.
out. Yes, I do.
She does it all. Miss Carol.
That's amazing.
Let's see how things go. I'm also writing a film or a movie. you know.
Wow.
Yes, I hope it comes. I never like to say anything's going on.
I get that.
Well, but yeah, let's see
You have
what
something in
goes.
the works.
There's something in the works.
Cool.
And with all these things, I have a quote. It was Eliot, I forget the name of the guy, but it says, "It's never too late to be what you might have been." For me now, I'm not even going to say it. It just, it cuts me to the quick to say the numbers. But, I really find, there just really is no limit on things you can do. And and I like it, never filling out any applications anymore, never any BS of my own expectations are the only ones I have to meet now at this point in time. I love that, and this show is part of that. I get to have really people I enjoy on the show, and you guys. It's been like 3 years since I remember you took the picture at one of the film festival at Villa Terrace. They had the screen and we put hotties.
I know.
Hotties.
Yeah, the
And we
photo
didn't
set up.
we didn't even know each other, but we took that great photo together, and then we ran into you again like 6 or 7 months later, and we were like,
We were gobsmacked.
Ryan and I were
Carol.
like, "That's Carol, it's her."
She's back.
And
We need another photo.
So I'm glad that our story continues. We keep finding ways to hang out.
Hey, so for you, with your the future with Milwaukee Film, what do you see as you kind of like maybe stay put with productions as you have been? Is this kind of like where you'd like to?
Oh, for me personally?
Yeah.
Oh, I think so. I mean, so I went to school at UW Milwaukee, and I studied film and video production. I actually bought my 16 millimeter film in this very store here for my projects. And so that's why I moved here. I'm from Minnesota, and I don't even think when I moved here originally, my intention was to stay in Milwaukee. I think I was like, I'll do this for now and then I'll move somewhere else. But then I ended up really falling in love with Milwaukee, and the scene here, the arts scene, the film scene, and then I found out about Milwaukee Film, and right away I started as a volunteer there, and I did that for 2 years, and then 1 year I had a music video that I directed in the Milwaukee Film Festival, and that was really exciting to get to experience it as a filmmaker. And so I've kind of experienced it from so many different perspectives, like as a patron, as a filmmaker, as a volunteer. And there was a while where my fiance worked at the Oriental Theatre, and so I was like always hanging out there. And so now getting to work there is kind of a really special experience that I feel like I sort of have spent the past 8 years or so sort of laying down the groundwork or manifesting, however you want to say it. But so I'd like to stick around. I love that I get to do it, and I get to work with people like Ryan and get to just share in a love of film with other people every day and the community every day. And I think we have built and are continuing to build something very special at Milwaukee Film. Does that answer the question?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I'll do it.
And how about for you, Ryan? Yeah.
But first off, I just want to say I think Robyn's is a really beautiful story about how an organization like Milwaukee Film can impact someone throughout so many different stages of your life, from being interested as a student to finding your future life partner to making an entire career out of it.
Yes,
Carol. Yeah, it's a Carol career. And I just think it goes to show that organizations like Milwaukee Film are so much more than just a movie house or just a film festival. It really can impact someone throughout their whole life, and everyone there is so dedicated to the craft they do and truly care about bringing people together through film and starting conversations, maybe showing you something new. We're going to laugh, we're going to cry, but that's what we're all here to do. And I think it's a beautiful thing, and it's been a great journey the last couple of years I've been working here. I went to graphic design at Carol University, and then was a design intern at Make-A-Wish. So I got my foot in the door of nonprofits right away.
Uh-huh.
And I absolutely loved that work. And then after the pandemic, I was looking for work, and I stumbled upon Milwaukee Film, and I'm like, a cool theater, Milwaukee together, East Side, putting on a festival,
Wow.
let's do it. And it's been a wild journey since, but every year is just filled, I think, with more excitement,
Wow.
more great stories, and just amazing coworkers to work.
So you guys, where do you live? Or what area, what part of town do you
So
live
I live in New Berlin, technically.
Ah.
I know, I'm sorry. I used to live in this area,
Fake
and then
fan.
I know, but I'm here all the time. So there's always a chance, and I'm at either of our theaters. You live very close.
Yep,
here.
right on over in Murray Hill.
Let's give
So
your exact
I walked to
okay.
I walked to the Oriental Theatre all the time.
right. Hey, hey, you know, in River West, it's one of the top neighborhoods in Wisconsin.
I love River West.
It comes third in neighborhoods in Milwaukee, so far as its importance to the community.
And I love River West Radio, and I'm happy we're here.
Hey, River West
You must
Radio.
check it out. It's
Where
cool
would
here.
I be without it? I wouldn't be here today.
Literally.
Put it on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I mention a couple things that we have coming up?
Yes, we're gonna do this quick. So.
Okay, so we have a great series starting. It's going to be going all throughout June. It's called Summer Camp, and
yes.
it's films that are kind of campy. It's our Pride Month series that was also programmed by Jack Faria, who programs our short films. So we're showing Death Becomes Her, Polyester in Odorama with Smell, a Scratch and Sniff card.
We're coming up.
Okay.
So,
and you can check out the rest online at mkefilm.org.
Hey, well, folks, next week my guest will be Jo Yanish. I believe Jo will be my guest. She's a woman who lives in River West, and she's a jewelry designer, and she travels all over with her designs, and Florida during the winter, and Key West in particular. And she and I are going to talk about a variety of things, but gentrification, how how it's affecting affecting us and places we live in, the affordability of places, arts communities and such. So here we go. That's it. All right, folks. Love you. Bye.
Thank you for having us. Sorry, we went a little long.
No, it's okay.
No.
No, well, actually, the last part
No,
of
you're
what I
good.
said.
I want to tune in next week. I want to hear that conversation.
Yeah,
That
thank you
sounds
so
like
much.
Yes, so